How's it going, guys, and welcome to my first ultimate guide to playing Walker Assault in Star Wars Battlefront. So, to stay with the theme of the beta, I'm going to be doing Hoth today. So once the full game comes out, I'm going to be doing hopefully one of these for every single map in the game. But for now, we've only really got the choice of Hoth. I've had a good long go at this. It's a very different game. So this, being the first video, being the first time people have tried this game, this is a very different game mode to a lot of first-person shooters. And so a lot of people don't really know what they're doing, or they're not 100% sure of how the Y-Wing bomb attacks work and things like that. But hopefully, by the end of this video, we can get you to games like this, in which case me and my team managed to bring down both AT-ATs at the first set of uplinks, and hopefully on the Imperial we can get you to KDs such as this one. So let's get straight into it. So first of all, how does this game mode actually work? Not enough people know exactly what to do, what is going on. So here's the basic gist. We have two AT-AT walkers making their way down. Now you see the symbol at the very center of the screen there, right at the top, right in the middle. You've got the bar with the 3 circles in it. Now as the game progresses, that is going to make its way to each of those 3 dots. Well, until the game ends, but you'll see what I mean. Whilst the rebels are holding the uplinks, each time the little circle goes around whilst the uplink is captured, a Y-Wing bomber is going to come up the top there on the left. That's where the little diagram of that Y-shaped ship there. And so a little uplink, once it makes a full rotation on those uplinks, a Y-Wing's going to come up the top. And that happens every time. So the longer you hold those uplinks, the more those Y-Wing bombers are going to show up and the more bombing runs you're going to have. Once that bar hits that circle, the Y-Wing bombers will come in, and how long they come in for depends on how many Y-Wingers you've managed to call in. So each time the circle goes around, you call in a Y-Wing bomber. The more Y-Wing bombers you manage to call in, the longer they're going to come in, and the longer you're going to be able to attack those AT-ATs. Now that is going to happen 3 times. We managed to bring them down at the first uplink, as you saw at the start of the video there in that little picture. But it can go all the way to the end of that 3rd uplink. If you are unable to take the AT-ATs down, both of them, by the time the end of that final uplink completes, the game is over, the rebels lose, and the Empire wins. So the rebels need to call in as many Y-Wings as they possibly can and destroy the AT-ATs. Meanwhile, the Empire need to defend those uplinks and limit the amount of damage taken on their assault walkers. So in these videos, I'm going to explain how best to attack these maps as both the Rebels and the Empire. Now, for this video, we're going to be starting with the Rebels, simply because it seems to be the one that most people have trouble with. Now, a lot of people think at the moment that this game is incredibly unbalanced, that the Empire just win every time. I think, however, that is due to a lack of knowledge of the game mode, a lack of knowledge of the map, and people are just unsure what they're doing. And so these videos, I'm going to start with the Rebels, and we're going to make our way through, and I'm just going to tell you how to nail these maps and how to get the best score and how to win these games. So first of all, let's get straight into it. On Hoth, the first set of uplinks is crucial. So as the Rebels, you need to be pushing back the Empire on the left side of this mountain that you can probably see at the start there. You need to spread the objectives and focus all major firepower on the ATSTs coming from the right uplink. So I'm going to be talking about these left and right ways looking forward in the direction you're seeing on the screen now. So the left uplink is going to be closest obviously to the left side of the map, the right uplink being to the right side of the map. Now, right in front of the left uplink on the first set, there is that mound there, that big rock mound, and coming from around the left, you can probably see me going to attack that now. There's going to be a lot of Imperial soldiers coming from around that area. You can spawn trap this area, you can get them locked down from that in that point. It's not going to take a huge amount, however, they're going to come in sort of waves as some of them try and spread off to the right uplink. With the right uplink, you're going to be getting AT-STs coming along there. You're going to be getting some good long-range fire over at the from Imperials coming from that side as they try to make their way through that long empty long empty stretch of snow where that downed AT-AT is. So really, you want to spread out across these objectives, but you want to hold them back as much as possible, because once you get to the 2nd and 3rd, the uplinks seem to progress. You have less and less stuff to hide behind, less and less cover. They're a lot harder to keep control. These are the Rebels' best chance at knocking down as much as possible early on the AT-ATs. So these first set of uplinks are absolutely crucial. You need to be pushing back the Empire as much as possible. Don't flank. Stick to the trenches. Push them back as far as you can. Keep them on the left side of that mountain and knock down those AT-STs as fast as possible at the right uplink. Make sure you're using good use of personal shields and good use of group shields over the uplinks to make sure you can keep them under control. And you need to get as many Y-Wing bombers in there as you possibly can. The second set provides much more cover, but watch again for flankers on the left side of the main mound, as well as hidden walkways in the walkways to the right, in the base that you have in the actual, proper mountain with the satellite dish on top of it and stuff like that. Basically what I mean is you can see behind the first set of uplinks that are seen on the screen now, there is another mountain. Now this is probably the best mountain, the biggest mound of rock in the game, or on this map at least, for the Empire to actually sit on and camp on. You can get a lot of men coming in from that direction. So you're going to get a lot of people flanking around the left side of that rock mound, and so you really want to be careful with that because you've got an uplink on the left and you've got another uplink inside the actual base. And so you really want to keep an eye on flankers from the left. Make sure you're stopping dudes, plenty of grenades coming in from the right. But also, there is a couple of walkways. Run around the back of the uplinks and one at the front of the uplinks that are very easy for Imperial soldiers to flank into that, into the actual rebel base. And you want to be really careful of these. So don't focus too much on Empire coming through the front door, of the actual base, the massive wide opening. There are going to be plenty of people coming that direction. They're going to be easy to pick off. Focus maybe just with some grenades and things down there, but keep an eye on those entrances and mainly watch for flankers on that outdoor uplink, as that's going to be the hardest one to control. Now, of course, the Empire have a lot of vehicles and things behind them, so 90% of matches on this map are going to push to the third set of uplinks, and aircraft here are absolutely crucial. So, attacking the third set of uplinks, or keeping control of them, capture the uplinks fast and do everything possible to protect them, to give as much time as possible for your snow speeders at the end of the game. Once you get to the third uplink, unless you absolutely nail those uplinks, which you probably won't because there's next to no cover at the third set of uplinks, then you really just want to make sure you call in as much Y-Wings as you possibly can in order to give as much chance for a comeback to your snow speeders. So X-Wings and A-Wings need to draw most of the fire from surrounding TIE fighters so that the snow speeders have no interruptions when trying to trip them with the wires. And snow speeders only appear at that final uplink, so they are there to trip AT-ATs, and that is it. So don't go flying out and trying to attack TIE fighters at the end. They're just not designed for that. They're going to be rubbish, they're slow, they're horrible. You're not going to be taking out TIE fighters. That is for A-Wings and X-Wings to be taken control of. Let them do their job. Also as well, there is going to be a large amount of turrets and a large amount of vehicle things. Try and get those either manned so that the enemy destroy them and you can pick off a few kills, or destroy them yourself with Imperial in them, because a lot of the times you'll get Imperial rush over to the third set of uplinks before you even get there as rebels, and they just hide in those turrets. They just absolutely romp, and you just have nothing to do, and you get no time to call in those Y-Wingers, and so it becomes impossible. Try and man those turrets as fast as possible, but the most important thing here is you're setting up for the comeback. Your whole idea at that third set of uplinks is to make sure that your snow speeders can come in and trip those AT-ATs at the end of the game. Now, I try to get some footage of tripping to give you a little tutorial, but every time I tried in this game, and I spent hours trying to record to get a trip, I just couldn't do it. I've taken down a few. I had one game where I nearly got both the AT-ATs in one go. And it is very possible, and it can be done very quickly, but you need the time from those Y-Wingers. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to want to come in as close as you can, side by side with the AT-AT, and this symbol is going to pop up to hold L1 and R1 at the exact same time. As you do that, the thing will hook on automatically, and with your right stick, you just need to keep that symbol in the center of the bar. That bar is going to get smaller and smaller, but it's not very difficult. It's pretty easy. The only thing that's going to ruin you tripping that AT-AT once you're in this position is surrounding TIE fighters. So that's when the A-Wings and things need to draw as much firepower as possible. Ideally, destroy them all before those snow speeders come in. But of course, everyone should be on the ground trying to attack those uplinks as fast as possible on the third one to give you as much time as possible to take out those TIE fighters and set up those tripwires. Also, when you're playing this game, a few all-around tips. Make sure you're using the jump pack, and make sure you're having personal shields equipped. Heavy blasters and things like that just aren't ideal for the rebels in this case, because your whole objective is to capture these uplinks, is to keep control of these uplinks and bring down those AT-ATs. Personal shields are going to let you capture those uplinks. You can go in, set them off. You can use them for yourself, or you can use them for your actual teammates. So if you see someone trying to capture an uplink, you can use your personal shield, run up next to them, and they will be involved in your shield, and it will cover them from fire, which is really cool. And my final tip, the best way to bring down those AT-ATs at the first two set of uplinks, which is ideally what you're aiming to do, not even let them get to that third set, is with aerial attacks, with your A-Wings and your X-Wings. Once they come out, you really want to be the A-Wings and X-Wings during the battle to capture the uplinks. Their whole idea is to get rid of the TIE fighters as fast as possible, not let any come out, get rid of them as soon as possible. That way, when the uplinks, the Y-Wings come in, you're able to strafe those AT-ATs and give everything you've got to absolutely nail them. Now, with one strafe with an A-Wing coming down at AT-AT, you can bring down maybe 10 to 15 health just in one good long solid run. Imagine that with 3 AT-ATs and an X-Wing. That's how we brought down the 2 AT-ATs at the very first uplink in the first game. We had everyone firing on it. We had the Imperial pushed back at behind the mountain. We had both objectives captured. We had some around 12 to 13 Y-Wing bombers coming in. We had forever to hit it. We absolutely nailed it with those A-Wing and X-Wings. And the thing, they were both down. They had no chance. Nothing at all. Nothing was stopping us from absolutely smashing those walkers. And that is how you're going to win as the Rebels. Your whole target is to capture those uplinks and bring in those Y-Wing bombers to give yourself as much time as possible. Everyone needs to be playing their role, everyone needs to be knowing what they're doing, and you will win. I think I've had 4 games in a row lately as the Rebels where I've won, simply because people are starting to pick up the game, they're starting to know what's going on, they're playing the objective better. It's the only way you're going to take them down. So play the objectives, capture those uplinks, and get as many Y-Wing bombers as you can. So what if you're the Empire? Well, the Empire have one objective, and that is limit the amount of Y-Wings, the complete opposite of the Rebel. And how do we do that? We're going to push back the Rebel scum, and we're going to keep them there. So vehicles for the Empire are crucial. Practice with them, and that KD will go flying up. Send to your AT-ST positioning around the uplinks and let the enemies come to you. So I'll probably have some stuff on the screen now. With the AT-STs, you can't go charging in there. You're going to get surrounded. You're going to have people flank you. You're going to get smacked from behind. You just can't keep up with it. Keep the enemy in front of you, but stay centered around those uplinks and make sure that none of those Rebels get there. That way, you've got kills coming from the front. You can absolutely nail them if you practice. In the TIE fighters and interceptors, A and X-Wings are your #1 priority. Take them out and don't let them get any shots on those walkers. As I said before, they are the #1 way to bring down the AT-AT's health. Get rid of them and don't let them do anything, and those walkers will storm all the way to the end of the map. For the first set of uplinks, be quick to the right and strong to the left. Now that is something to follow every game on Hoth. Quick to the right, strong to the left. So what do I mean? I mean this time we're flipping it around, and at the right uplink, you're going to get a lot of Rebels coming in and trying to make their way straight to the uplink. Be quick to that area, because if they want to push you back, they can spawn trap you, like I suggested at the start of the Rebels in the start of the video. You can get spawn trapped around the side of that mountain. You want to get to that right walkway quick. You want to get to that right uplink quick and not let them get anywhere near you. You want to hold that position. In saying that, though, the majority of your soldiers should be making their way around to the left, because you want to keep that left uplink is going to be a lot harder to keep control. So the AT-STs need to be staying there. You need as many soldiers as you can spare to stay there. There's not that much cover. There's going to be a lot of Rebels making their way there, and it's really the hardest one for the Empire to cover at the start, and it's why the Rebels have probably the biggest advantage at the first uplink. So you want to be quick to the right to avoid that flank, to avoid that spawn trap, but hard to the left to keep them back and keep them pushed into that area and force them around to the right, where you can flank them over and over and over again and just keep them in that spawn point. At the second set of uplinks, use the small entrances to the locker. So flanking around the right is pretty cool. Stick to the trenches, stay with cover, use your personal shields, use your heavy blasters. Just give everything you've got around there. That's really just by force. But the actual uplink inside the base, don't even bother trying to attack that through the main entrance. Flank around all the way around to the end. There's an entrance at the very top. You can head into there. That is going to get you some big kills, and that is going to focus attention into that exit as well, and just scare them off to making them look around in all entrances and spreading out. And that's going to make it easier for you to go through the entrance. There's one on the very side of the mountain, very close to the left uplink at the first set. That's going to get you straight inside, and I've picked up massive KDs just heading into that one area, and that's just going to stop that uplink. So if you can keep control of both those areas, that is awesome. It can be very difficult, I know, but of course this is a game. You've got the vehicles. By now you should have people in the front driver's seat of the AT-AT almost all of the time. Keep it up, keep the pushing, and just try and get yourself to the third set of uplinks. Which is, it's the big idea. Don't be afraid to flank is probably the biggest one for the second set of uplinks. Reinforce your assault. Don't be afraid to take the time to run around and just nail off and pick them off. Get that KD right up there, and you will absolutely nail that set of uplinks. You're really at this point just trying to, you want to keep up the force from the first, push them back, and drive it to the third set of uplinks. At the third set, however, do not sit back. Flood those objectives and bring down those snow speeders during the Y-wing attacks to crush any chance of a comeback. It doesn't matter how little they have attacked those AT-ATs. If they get a chance to wire up the legs of those AT-ATs or the snow speeders, they are down. They are gone. You will not have a chance. You need to be, the TIE fighters need to be doing everything they can to take out those guys as quickly as possible. Even just doing some strafing runs and surviving until it gets to the Y-wing bomb attacks, just so you can stop those snow speeders. If you can see one wiring around, take it out as soon as possible. Everyone needs to be stopping those snow speeders, taking out the legs of those AT-ATs. You also need to be, like I said, as infantry, flooding those objectives. Don't let them call in Y-wing bombers. If they have anything less than 4 Y-wing bombers, you've pretty much won at the third objective, because it is just so fast. They have no chance at a comeback and no time to bring down those AT-ATs with just pure firepower. They're really going to have to rely on that comeback with the trip. Also attempt to hold and or destroy any of all types of turret to limit damage to the AT-ATs at the end of the match. So those turrets at the third objectives, as I said, are something that the rebels are going to want to take over as quickly as possible. If it seems like, or if you know that the third uplinks are going to be coming up, maybe a few of you can flank down, try and get all the way down to those turrets as soon as possible. Pick off the rebel scum spawning at those third set of uplinks. Don't even let them start capturing those objectives, but make sure that they can't get a hold of them whilst the AT-ATs. It's really, apart from the snow speed, is the only way they're going to get some sort of noticeable damage on the AT-AT walkers from the ground. And so, it's sort of vital that you want to get those, held off. Keep them away from the rebels. Don't let them have them in the first place, as well as don't let them get to those uplinks in the first place. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, give us a like and give us a thumbs up, give it a comment. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear, and let me know if this video helped you out. I can make them better in any possible way. Anything. This is all for you guys. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll catch you later. TK's out. Have a good one.